This meeting is being recorded.
All right, thank you everyone. So hello everyone, welcome to the Southeast Asia Mobile Gaming Loadout. So today we're gonna talk more about what's the state of the mobile gaming industry. We're gonna talk about a lot of like how to enter the Southeast Asia market in general, because this is special session about talk about the Southeast Asia region as well. And then we're gonna talk more about this wonderful four wonderful speakers, see how they could bring the insight based on their different point of view in the industry. So without further ado, I'm gonna introduce a little bit about our wonderful speakers. So the first one is Mr. Ashish Shinbe, the BD manager from SocialPeta. Hi, Mr.
Yeah, thank you.
Ashish.
Yeah, thank you, Adam. Thank you. And thank you all the panelists for joining and, doing this event together, doing this webinar for this, great insights about the ACA market. My name is Ashish. I work with SocialPeta, which is an ad intelligence platform, which helps you, find out and about your competition ads on different social networks by compiling and running an algorithm so that you'll be able to find out the right information about the ad creatives. I stay in India, but we are also covering the ACA market. Yeah, that's about me.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ashish.
Thank you.
Okay, now the next speaker is Mr. Mudasir from MAS. The floor is yours, Mr. Mudasir.
Hi, everyone. Thanks a lot for the opportunity here, Ada, and also the SocialPeta team, and also to the other esteemed panelists. So my name is Mudassir. I am the business director at Affle's MAS platform. I am working primarily in the Southeast Asia market. I'm based out of Malaysia, and I look after the businesses across Malaysia, Singapore, and Philippines for MAS. I've been with MAS and Affle for slightly over 8 years, and that's also my experience with the mobile advertising and digital marketing industry. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And when it comes to the platform itself, Affle MAS, we're basically a unified audience platform, driving user acquisition at scale across the board and in Southeast Asia as well.
Awesome, that's cool. Thank you, Mr. Mudasir. So our next speaker also, the third speaker is Mr. Shafiq from Gambir Studio. May the floor is yours. I think you're still on mute.
There you go. Hi, hello everyone. My name is Shafiq Hussain. I'm the CEO of Gambir Studio. We are a game developer based in Jakarta from Indonesia. We already have more than 20+ million users on the Google Play and iOS. And we already published several games. Our latest game is called the Selera Nusantara. It's like a cooking, a time management game. Well, we just won the Google Award last year as a best indie game. So yeah, it's very honored to be here with all the panelists, and especially thank you for the SocialPeta and Agi and Google and the other panelists for today. So yeah, it's so excited to be here.
Awesome, thank you so much. So I think Selera Nusantara also really booming in also Indonesia. I think,
thank you.
because there's a lot of like organic leads to all of this stuff, right? I think that's cool. Okay, thank you so much, Shafiq. So last but not least, Mr. Haritan, a growth manager from Google. The floor is yours, Mr. Hari.
Yeah, thank you so much for the introduction then. Hi, everyone. This is Harry from the Google Ads team here in Singapore. So I've been working with Google for the past 5 years. So working mainly with game and app developers across the South Asia as well as the Pakistan region to help the developers and publishers grow with Google's app campaign solutions. So happy to be here.
Thank you so much, Mr. Harry. So before we do an open flow discussion, let me triggering into one question first based on I want to hear your insight based on your point of view. Like, what is the state of 2022 in the mobile gaming industry and gaming ecosystem in general, or Southeast Asia user trend, or related to mobile games in Southeast Asia? Do you have any insight based on the state and probably the future trend? Maybe Mr. Asis first.
Sure. Thank you, Adan. Thanks for the question. I believe it's a very, very good question in terms of understanding the overall landscape of the ACA market. Now, the one thing which really comes up to, on the top of the mind when I talk about SEA market is about mobile gaming. A lot of these users, a lot of these end users are really into mobile game marketing. Plus, additionally, it's also has a very competitive,
Yes.
market. A lot of
That's true.
users, casual users as well, they're quite competitive in terms of mobile gaming. And, considering that, we have better devices, better smartphone devices coming up with better RAM, better, processors these
Yes.
days. And a lot of people have, access to these cell phone devices and smartphone devices. Now, earlier, when we used to talk about, let's say about 5-10 years ago, when we used to talk about gaming community in specific, the one thing only which reminded us are the Xbox and the PlayStations and the
Yes.
PC users.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. And I have complete respect for them because that takes a lot of time to set up.
Absolutely.
You have to have the good budget, you have to have a good PC, then you have to have, a good internet connection.
A lot of front end investment probably.
Exactly, yeah. So even for me personally, I never used to play game earlier,
Right.
but when I had a good device phone, I use especially a OnePlus, so it has good specs, specs and all that. Even I downloaded a mobile game. I never thought I would download a game in my cell phone. And after the office, I just want to casually chill out, play some couple of games along with my friends. I don't have to go to my PC, open it up, or to my Xbox. It's a lengthy process. And SEA market has really picked up on that for the mobile segment. So that is one thing I really, really think all the companies who are looking to, further, get into the market and understand overall, they need to understand the competitive landscape that they're all do mobile gaming. And based on that, they should develop and publish games accordingly. So that's one my, key point and takeaway for this SEA market for
I see.
2022, especially.
Yes, that's true. Especially in this would say fast-paced market. Everyone
Absolutely.
have no idea, they have no time
Yeah.
to do anything.
Exactly.
As the mobile is growing a little bit. Okay.
Really.
Thank you so much, Mr. Aziz. That's a nice insight. So I want to hear from Mr. Mudasir, how, based on your perspective on the MAIS, do you have any insight on what is the actual state on the 2022 mobile game industry, or even mobile industry in general, maybe apps or games and the behavior? Maybe Mr. Mudasir?
Absolutely. Thanks, Ardan. And also reflecting back on what Ashish said, things have obviously changed over the past few years, where the conventional gaming has really moved into the mobile version, and which is now clearly the most popular way of gaming for majority of gamers across the world. Now, mobile gaming as a whole, I believe, is definitely on a massive high right now. And the future for this particular category is also very bright. And what we witnessed 2 years ago in the form of the pandemic, that actually helped accelerate this growth even faster. And right now, we see no signs of this growth dipping or slowing down after the pandemic. And we are already in most of the countries, we are in the post-pandemic era already. In fact, at the start of the pandemic, we at MAS identified the EFGH verticals, which we believed were likely to gain from this very unique global situation because there were lockdowns everywhere and so on and so forth. And within that EFGH category, G was basically representing gaming. So we knew that gaming was going to take off in a massive way. And just to give you a bit of a contrast there, if we look back at 2016, before the very famous Pokemon Go came out, the global mobile gaming industry was valued at about just under $50 billion. But right now, in 2022, that particular valuation is a massive $100 billion plus. Wow. And a major contributor to that growth really has been the pandemic. So it's been, it's been a blessing in disguise in a way. So in Southeast Asia alone, the pre-pandemic mobile gaming revenue was about $2 billion, and in 2023 is expected to go double of that. So clearly, the growth is doubling across the board, primarily in markets like Thailand, Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam, and Singapore. And this trend in Southeast Asia will continue. It will be one of the big contributors to global gaming economy across Asia Pacific and across the world. And this is also due to certain key improvements in infrastructure and the fact that generally Southeast Asia is a mobile-first region. Infrastructural improvements, for example, we've got very high internet and smartphone penetration. That coupled with the launch and implementation of 5G networks, which is obviously supposed to enhance your gameplay experience by about 100 times. So yeah, I think that's pretty much the state, and that's where we're headed towards.
Yes, I'm totally agree with that. We know that from Mr. Aziz that we changed from conventional gaming to more mobile first, and also with Mr. Mudasir's statement before that, the the infrastructures and the ecosystem itself allowing to grow massively, and the demand itself with the ecosystem. So would say in the TLDR version, the market is really green toward like 2 or 3 years now. This interesting. I want to know more about an actual developer right now. Is it how would you react to that data that been our statement? Is it really that green, or is there any obstacle in that? Is there any because Mr. Aziz said that the market itself, even though is big, is really competitive to all of the mobile, especially on mobile industry. How would you how's your insight to it, Mr. Shafiq?
Okay, wow, I'm so happy to listen all the data and all the good news that that all the panelists gave us. And I feel exposed. But yeah. I mean, so I think that is why we are still keep doing the mobile game development, because we know that the market is there. And right now, especially because the blockchain and Web3 and the NFT kind of stuff is also there, tap into the gaming market as well. I just got back from Tokyo Game Show a couple days ago, and they have I know that they have like a spatial area for the NFT and the Web3 as well. It means that the market is growing. And mostly developers is developing for the mobile, for the Web3 and the blockchain as well. So it means that the market is still keep growing, And of course, the smartphone penetrations nowadays just keep like they're updating the software and they're updating the hardware as well. So I really believe that there's someday that there is no like a major there's some major differences between a mobile game and a PC game as well. Because right now that you can play the AAA on your mobile games as well, right? And yeah, and for now I think that and the mobility from people nowadays is, you know, the pandemic is slightly like lower at the moment, and people try to traveling and stuff, and they're using mobile. They don't bring the
Xbox,
yeah,
the PlayStation.
So yeah, it's more convenient. It's more convenient. So that is why the people are slightly changing right now more. So yeah, and of course, it's but in the end, it's very competitive market, because you don't. I mean, you cannot compete only for the mobile games, another mobile games, but you also compete with another apps.
Yes.
You should compete with another, you know, I mean, like the video streaming, like YouTube, or you have to compete with social media as well, because you know, when you're holding a phone, that you have to spare your time is like watching a videos, seeing the updates from your friends, opening up your social media, messaging and stuff, but also that you want your user to be investing their time to play your games as well, right?
Yes.
It's totally different than the console player, that they have like, they are literally making times to playing your game.
Yes.
I mean, like they have to sit down in front of the computer or the console and then play your games like certain hours. But for the mobile games, it's quite different. So it's very competitive.
Yep. So interesting. So yeah, I think it was I would say that not only for other games, other big AAAs, but also a lot of like YouTube, sadly, to go through the others mainstream apps also, like not only the time but also the size as well. Like like if you want to install something and then you cannot install it because there's no space, probably like that.
Yeah.
That's also kind of yeah, that's a good insight. So thank you, Shafiq. And I want to know more about Mr. Hari from Google as well. How would you see it from the last three panelists? Maybe Mr. Hari, do you have any insight on the 2022 mobiles gaming industry based on your point of view? Floor is yours.
Yeah, I think Ashish, Mudassar, and Shafiq pretty much cover a lot of insights for the local market already. Perhaps that's one thing that I want to add on, is maybe from both the consumer and developer perspective. From the consumer perspective, like you have seen the panelists mentioning that Southeast Asia is really a huge consumer market for the mobile games. There's a lot of upcoming mobile gamers to play the games. There's a huge audience behind, and gaming is the leading form of entertainment, especially in Southeast Asia, and especially on mobile. A lot of the first-time gamers, they are on mobile. And secondly, from the consumer perspective, they are exploring. They have the curiosity to explore all different kind of games. They may not have gain exposure directly to the console, to the AAA type of games, but they most of them, they have a mobile phone and they explore all type of different mobile games. From the developer perspective, I would say Southeast Asia is a fast rising game developer ecosystem. There's a lot of talented studios from different countries in Southeast Asia, like Shafiq's studio, like a lot of other studios in Vietnam markets, in Indonesia, in Singapore, Malaysia, and across the Southeast Asia markets. And these studios, they are innovating to creating all different sorts of like newer games, be it pivotal games, be it hyper casual games, be it like merge type of games. So they are creating content not just for the local region, but also exporting their games to meet the demand of global audiences. And I think another trend where we are seeing is that there's a lot of consolidation in gaming space. There's a lot of, if you see the news, the headlines, there's a lot of gaming merger and acquisitions happening, and there's a lot of studios locally who want to be like publishing their own games and then hit as well. So that's roughly some of the insights that we have seen from both the consumer as well as the developer perspective.
Awesome. Thank you. I mean, I agree with that. Like, I'm totally agree with that. So we all agree that would say Southeast Asia market is this huge market, and then like the fact that it's a really competitive market. So what's the strategy to acquire those Southeast Asia user, or even like retaining maybe a lot of like in my personal knowledge, a lot of them installing and then not retaining that more, just install and then 5 minutes later delete if don't like it. Like, I want to know more about like how would we cater to enter the Southeast Asia market and adjusting to the Southeast Asia market based on your experience. Probably the first one, Mr. Ashish.
Yeah.
Could
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Adhan, for that follow-up question. It's really strings along with the first question. You said it right, and as I said earlier as well, ASEA market in reality is a really competitive market.
Yep.
The reason behind is that, as Mudassir said earlier, that the penetration of smartphone devices and 5G networks have really made it easy to install it, but we don't see the other side of the coin is that it's also easy to uninstall it. So a lot of gamers, they would probably might install it, and they play a couple of games and they may not like it because there's another another competitive game which is running along, and they are doing aggressive ad creatives campaign on different social media. So they download, they probably will be interested in playing that game also. Personally, it's my experience also, because and even in SEA market, we see a lot of new gamers. My first mobile game was Call of Duty Mobile, because I used to play that on my console, and after a certain time it became quite tidy, and the COVID really helped out because a lot of people were not who did not have access to consoles and who did not have access to PCs and all that. This particular game really picked up, especially for if I talk about the India market, a lot of people were, and so as I said, it's very easy to install and it's very easy to uninstall the game also. They might even end up not playing that game at all. So the campaign strategy, what I believe for the SAA market is going to be to keeping the user database as entrusted as possible. They should be, highly, good rewards, and they should be, and as I said, I'm probably using this term again and again, but as I said, the market is really competitive. Even the young users, they are really into competition. They have multiple, they're attending in EA Sports. They have huge teams coming up, and that's a really good thing. People are understanding that as a career choice also. 10 years ago, no one ever understood this, but nowadays people really understand and appreciate that. They run different campaigns, they run different competition on global levels, not just local levels. So as I said, the young generations, they are downloading these games. So they need to create and develop and publish games which really are competitive in terms of playing with high users, active users in the game lobby, wherein they can actually play with real players. And the more they start playing, and the more, if of course, I play the games, and if I lose, I say, let's play one more game. Now I don't want to end up my streak, and I want to play one more game and one more game. So that's kind of a vicious cycle where I
Right.
always end up in the evening time after my office hours. So that's what I've
So we
understood
all
in the SEO
do
market.
that
Yeah,
as
I
well.
come across a lot of SEA,
Yes.
SEA gamers.
Yep.
We end up playing together. We end up playing with each other. So yeah, that's what I've noticed, that COD Mobile, and as I said, for an example, is really competitive in terms of multiplayer and as well as battle royale. So
Yep.
that is one key takeaway from me. If people have to really enter, and it doesn't have to be an action mobile game, right? It could be a board game, it could be a puzzle game, even it could be a casual game also. But keep it as interesting as possible. Keep the user really interested and integrated into their game, and do an aggressive campaign strategy with a lot of ad creatives, with a lot of social on different social networks. So those are few key takeaways from my side.
Thank you so much, Mr. Francis. I think I'm agree with that also. So would say a group experience, would say that, right? And then also make it snappy, make it
Yeah,
remarkable as well, right? Make it,
exactly.
I understand. Thank you so much, Mr. Francis. So I want to go through Mr. Mudasir, like you expert in user acquisition as well. So how would you see it, like all of this game trying to all of this game developer trying to acquire to the same space in the Southeast Asia region? How would you see it, like what's the best way to enter as a probably an acquisition level, or like even like how a journey in general as well for the campaign strategy in Southeast Asia? Floor is yours, Mr. Budasir.
Yeah, thanks, Ardan. And I think, like what Ashish was saying earlier on, retention is also a very important part when it comes to gaming, especially nowadays with such a huge variety of games and playing
Yes.
options available. While at the same time, retention is heavily dependent on the actual gameplay experience, the title, and the stickiness or the virality of the game itself. But I think, going back to your question, let's focus on the acquisition part. And we clearly have established the fact that Southeast Asia is one of the fastest growing gaming markets globally. And just to add a few more stats to support that statement, I mean, as of this year, we know that 1 in 3 smartphone users in Southeast Asia are most likely to be gamers or play some form of games at least once a week. And that 82% or 80+% of the urban population in Southeast Asia tend to be gamers, and mobile games actually enjoy the highest share of that percentage. And also Southeast Asia, there's a lot of young adults who are getting exposed to smart devices, smartphones, are having access to fast internet, and it is seen that about 60% of their waking time is spent online, out of which 80% is spent on playing games. So you can see how the trend, especially in the young adults, is going towards gaming, and it has become the pastime of choice. Now, with that background in mind, the approach for acquiring users within this region has to be carefully thought after, and it has to be a multifold approach. The focus really has to be on audience targeting. Now, your audience is key. I mean, to mass as a platform, audience is one of the words in our mobile audience as a service.
Yes.
So audience targeting is definitely key, and this is based on affinity. That not only should be limited to gamers alone. The affinity targeting can go past that, because like earlier on we were also hearing there are other apps, like Shafi pointed out, there are other apps people are competing against, or games are competing against. But we can use that as an advantage, because you can target people who are online shoppers, who are social media platform users, entertainment, OTT platform users, or music consumers. So all of these audiences become key to a gaming acquisition approach as well. And I think because Southeast Asia also comprises of many countries, while culturally most of Southeast Asia is similar, but it's a vernacularly diverse market.
Right.
Each market has their own languages, dialects, and in certain cases, some countries like Malaysia, Singapore are multilingual. So how do you approach that? This is very important for casual gamers, because what we've seen is that they feel a sense of community and connection with players when they're playing in their native language, or when they are approached using ads which are in their native languages. Therefore, the usage of such vernacular creatives in a game's ad strategy can help sort of reach to a wider audience. So that is one very important part. Then you have your creative strategy, which goes beyond vernacular ads. You have to be using the right kind of assets. Video ads work really well for the gaming segment. That has been seen. Short video ads or playable ads, and creatives of different sizes. In certain cases, you can go the extra mile by developing rich media ads, which are very game focused, with even a bit of a gameplay, whether it is using augmented reality and so on and so forth. Another strategy is incentive-based acquisition. Now, incentivizing users through game points or coins, that has been the popular way for a very long time, and it's much more popular amongst certain categories like hyper-casual games, like you see in Candy Crush and so on and so forth.
Yep.
Right, so that is also a strategy that needs to be taken into account. Then you have placement strategies. Where do you actually show your ads? For example, how do you capture this young adult segment in Southeast Asia? We know that a lot of this high affinity gaming audience, or the young adults of Southeast Asia, they're extremely active on social media platforms. And that's why a game needs to leverage off of platforms like TikTok and short video apps. Like in Philippines, you have Kumu, there's Bigo Live, and so on and so forth. So these are video platforms or social platforms where you find a lot of young adults being extremely active. So reaching out to them at the right place is very important. Then, I mean, these are few of the things that I would highlight as being the important ways to get into the Southeast Asia market. And of course, then acquiring these users at scale. And that's when, after that, your retention part comes in. And over there are appropriate retargeting strategies, how you retarget based on downtime and uninstall rates and so on and so forth, because you've got that device ID data. So that comes as a secondary thing, but primarily for acquiring that user base, these are the few things that I can think of.
Yes. Oh my God, that's so cool. I'm totally agree with that. It boils down to know your customers, right? Like knows what you're targeting into, what they like, what they consume. Probably some of them use TikTok, some of them use Twitch. You should adjust accordingly. Probably something like that, like knowing your customer. Is that kind of what's this boils down to, Mr. Mudasir?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you're aware of what your potential audience is, that makes it one step easier. Then you've got to look into ways and strategies of how to acquire them, where to show them your ads, and that's where a lot of data analysis and understanding
all of the stuff.
Well, yeah.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Mudasir. So I want to know for Shafiq. So your game Selera Nusantara, it's really specific into the Indonesian region. I want to know, is that the implementation of like what Mr. Mudasir has explained before? maybe Shafiq could answer a little bit of that.
Okay. So wow, actually all of my answers has been answered. Well, technically, I mean, especially like Mr. Murray said that mostly that the young adult user is the majority of of the mobile games target market, right? And there's and of course there's a lot of way to do like a user acquisition and stuff. And we should be remember that right now that everything is video, right? So if you want to, if you should, this is the sentence that I usually use on the Gambler Studio, that we should know them, we should speak them with their language. I mean, like we should be there as well. I mean, knowing your audience, like and of course listen to them. And since we know that who is our player is, that okay, it's a young adult. What kind of platform that they are mostly use? Who is the influencer that they are usually followed or listened to and stuff? What kind of their habits? And we try on our first game, the TTS Lontong, the crossword puzzle. Right. That back then we don't have a very big marketing budget. We just only spend like $100, but we get a 15 million downloads. And on a certain moment that we think that okay, we need to do something on the game to do like some kind of the user acquisitions, but we don't have the budget. So since that we knew that mostly our user is a young adult, and young adult mostly a narcissistic or like a social media activist or something, right? So we create something on the game that people can actually submit their questions, and we will give them a credits. So your social media account will be written when your questions will be posted on the game. So when they saw it, they will do a screenshot and they will share to their friends on the social media, and their friend will ask, okay, where is it come from? What kind of games and stuff? On the other hand, that we are using them as our tools to do like a marketing, like the free marketing for us as well, right? And and they're happy because it's very mutual. Some of them like gain followers because people, okay, well, your question is very funny and I want you to know more.
With the friends,
yes,
or like that.
Yes, or maybe like visiting your profile because your ID is on the page, right?
That's on the page,
and yes, and yeah, there's the thing that mostly the Gen Z and millennials love, like, right? And it doesn't cost anything though. So yeah, especially like that. But for our like pet apps and something that right now that we are mostly using videos, because people like will be more intent to do like a kind of videos of ads and stuff. And yeah, TikTok it really works though. And yeah, and for the games, based on our experience, that people want to know more about the experience, about the like what kind of gameplay, what kind of things that they want to see. On the other hand, they want to see the cinematic of the game, but on the other hand, that they want to feel the experience, like the gameplay itself. They want to see it, because sometimes, like the ads is very good, but when you already downloading the game, and
then
what you get is totally
what's the point, right?
Yes, exactly. So and it will be raise up your uninstall rate, which is not good for your apps as well. So that is why that we are trying to give them like the sense of winning at the very first place, and they will like, okay, I think I'm good on this game, and they will keep repeating again and again.
I see. I understand. So yeah, I think that's what in line with the Mr. Ashish say, that collaborative,
Yes.
like all of these group experience, as you said before, Mr. Ashish as well. Yeah, thank you so much, Shafiq. So want to go to Mr. Hari, last but not least. Really sorry. So what do you think about the from the two panelists, there's like especially as you as a growth manager in a Google as developer, and also overseeing all of the games through the platform, do you have any like patterns that would works in Southeast Asia probably, so our attendees could probably do this and that, tips and tricks probably, maybe Mr. Hari?
Yeah, sure. Perhaps I can share more perspective on how we are sharing in terms of best practices for
Right.
some game studios that we work with from the Google side. So I think depending on the life cycle of the games, the digital marketing strategy for acquiring users is slightly different. And then we will recommend different solutions across different game life cycle as well. Say, for example, during the testing stage, it's more to validate the user metrics, right? Test if your game have been loved by your audiences. How's your early retention rates metrics looks like? How are users engaging with your game? How's your monetization working within your game? So during this testing phase, potentially you may not aiming for huge users. You're just aiming for a small set of users to see if your assumption for your game really resonates well for your targeted audience. So in this stage, you can potentially reach out to audience that you already have connection to, maybe through your past games or like running small scale user acquisition campaigns, just to acquire a small set of users to validate the in-game metrics. And once you have validated these metrics and you want to start launching your game after the testing phase, so you could potentially considering if you're building a multiplayer massive type of game, potentially when you want to launch the game, you want to acquire as many users as possible.
Yes,
on the day of launch itself, right? So potentially things that you can consider in this phase is pre-registration. Put your game up for pre-registration and even start running campaigns such as like the pre-registration type of campaigns to acquire as many users as possible, getting them to pre-register for your game as early as possible, so that on the day of launch, you get a massive audience to come when you actually launch the game. But if let's say your game is more the casual type of game, then you will be focusing, you don't need to focusing that much on the pre-registration, instead of focusing more on the launching phase itself, right? So once we came to the launching phase, then a lot of people will consider there's just two main type that we have seen. One is like a tiered approach, maybe launching in certain markets first, and then once certain markets are working, then expanding to other global markets. The other one is a full launch like approach that we have seen. So just as long as they have validated the metrics is working for the game, so they will go full force on the launching day, expanding to all the possible countries that's possible, and then acquiring as many users as possible. So in this phase, what you want to do is to aim for as many users as possible and get the maximum exposure, so that your game ranks higher in the ranking charts, and then you get everyone to talk about your game, share your game on different networks, and getting more friends to play. Once your game passed this launching phase, then it's on the growth phase. So you're not just focusing on acquiring massive users. You also want to focus on acquiring higher quality users, right? So acquiring using different campaign strategies. So from Google side, we have the in-app action type of campaigns, so that you can start acquiring users, not just getting them to download your game, but also getting them to download your game and then perform certain type of in-app actions that could be valuable to your business, such as maybe making in-app purchase, such as maybe complete level 10, or such as maybe join a guild or something. So on this growth phase, focusing on the core audiences. And once your game has been in the market for a few years, maybe like you will relatively have a stable cohort of users. At this phase, perhaps it's hard for you to acquire many more new users at the scale compared to your launching phase. Then doing this like steady phase, potentially what you want to be thinking of is to re-engage with your most valuable users, whether those users who have made a purchase in the past or whether users who have actively engaged a lot within your game in the past. So I think that's kind of like different marketing strategies for different phase of games. And for Southeast Asia particularly, I think to succeed, to acquire more high quality users in this market, the key to success is really localization, because there's so many different markets, so many different countries. Every country and market have different culture, have different preferences. Most countries speak different languages as well. So you really need to localize your game, localize your marketing creatives, and localize your message to attract our audience in these markets.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Harry. So it does it's aligned with all of the speakers. We got the sense of like what's the campaign should be, like knowing the consumers, and then after knowing the localization, and also before you go all in, just experiment with the metrics, etc., like that, and then grow to the right media buying, like as Shafik has mentioned. So we do have like what I call the abstract ideas right now about the Southeast, how to enter the Southeast Asia market in general. So I want to remind the audience, you do have you could ask on the Q&A, so to make it more two-sided conversation, not only listening. So we do have 2 questions from the panelists as well. Sorry, for the audience, from the audience. So maybe we're gonna answer one question first, and then we go through our conversation as well. So, hello panelists. What do you think about the future technologies such as NFT, blockchain, cryptocurrency, VR in general in Southeast Asia mobile gaming over these past 3 years, or even like 3 years in the futures? Probably we'll start. Let's do a switcheroo a little bit. Let's start from Mr. Harry first. What do you think about the future technology being integrated to the what I call Southeast Asia mobile gaming market? And yeah, the floor is yours, Mr. Harry.
Yep, sure. So I think definitely this is a great question. So I think maybe I can comment more from the NFT and blockchain type of games. That's the latest trends that we have seen from the market, both from a developer and consumer perspective. From a developer perspective, there's a lot of studios, especially from Southeast Asia, who goes all in to switch from Web2 games to Web3 games. So there's a lot of interest from the local game developers to really develop the Web3 type of games because they see this could be the real potential for the future. And from the consumer perspective, as Southeast Asia is such a huge gamer market, there's a lot of like I've been frequently seeing in the news that there's a lot of players who love to play the Web3 games as well. So, for example, the Axie Infinity type of game getting popularity worldwide, and then a lot of players from Philippines are relying it a lot on the game for their daily living as well. So I think, as you can see, there's a lot of user interest in this type of games, and there's a lot of developers creating great games using this technology. So I think even though the market may not be at its peak right now, but I think there's still a lot of user interest and then developer interest around this area.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Harag. So let's switch a little bit, go to Shafiq now. What do you think about the future of the NFT, blockchain, cryptocurrency on the mobile market?
Well, actually, yeah, well, this is very interesting questions because currently that we are trying to do some kind of the Web3 and the NFT games as well. So yeah, for me personally, yeah, and especially Southeast Asia, we love to try something new, right? We are trying to explore new things and stuff, and we don't want to like not updating with the trend. We always keep up with that. And yeah, like Mr. Harry says that yeah, there's market. Actually, there's a market for that, but we don't have like a very success and established for now because it's very new. What I see right now at the moment is not the market is switching. The game, the conventional game is still there. They still have a very big market. But what I see here that we are expanding the market. So maybe from the perspective that people think that, oh, you only spend money on the game, but right now you can earn the money from the game as well. It makes that that we can leverage the users to be like a gamer can be like a professional job. You can tell your mom that you are a gamer and you still can earn the money as well. Yeah. And yeah, there's a few competitions as well. And I see these things that we are expanding. The market itself it's really expanding. It grows, and of course there's a lot of things happen between the growth. But I think that we are on the right path right now. But maybe the message that I want to deliver to the developer that you don't have to like following all the trends, just focus on the things that you are good on. But if you want to try new things, just actually it's go ahead, but do not like 100% switching. This is something new that there's no one can prove it that it will be established.
Understand.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Shafiq. Mr. Mudassir, do you have anything to add?
Well, not a whole lot. I think everything has been covered. But yeah, look, at the end of the day, this is the trend. How we've seen blockchain and crypto trending over the past few years, the whole concept and idea of decentralization and that approach is picking up. I'm not sure how massively impactful it's going to be in the very immediate future in Southeast Asia, because I wouldn't say Southeast Asia is lagging behind, but at an overall rate, there's still that is to be done in the conventional way as well, and the conventional way is still the preferred way. But with Web3 type of marketplaces and giving gamers that sense of ownership, like what you guys spoke about in the form of NFTs and other digital assets, it is a great change in the entire ecosystem. But I think the pickup and sort of acceptance of it will be kind of gradual. It won't be extremely quick. That's my 2 cents on it.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mudassir. Mr. Ashish, do you have anything to add as well?
Agreed with all the panelists, what they said and everything. I now understand Harry's situation, like he doesn't like to go at the end because everyone has said everything. Just to add on to, everything, what I've said, what I understand is a really, really big topic. It's a really major topic to be discussed. What we're doing right now by blockchain and NFT, that we're really changing the way people are spending, that we're changing the currency, which is in the market, which is a huge thing. And, I believe when it started, it grew out of proportion and a lot of people started doing NFTs and everything.
Yes.
And so as Mudassir said, there has to be a conventional way. It has to be a step-by-step growth people need to understand and adapt to the technology, and not just the gaming community. I would say the entire on a global level, they need to understand. And of course, if they're changing something in the currency share, then obviously there's a huge shift between the capital markets. What we're talking about. The investment will changes. The I would say the employment landscape would entirely change. So it's a huge shift, but we are getting into it with the Web3 integration with, and as Shafiq said, they're also developing games like that. And I believe a lot of developers would come up with some sort of gameplays, some sort of games like this, which would help us understand what exactly it is. But as of now, it's a major big topic and it requires another webinar on itself, at
Yes,
least a couple of hours.
absolutely.
Yeah. So, but it's an interesting topic to discuss about.
Thank you so much, Mr. Asif. So, yeah, I'm totally agree with that. So, for this session, I think we're gonna extend like 30 minutes because it's supposed to be on 5, but we do still have a lot of things to ask these wonderful 4 panelists. So maybe let's start with a specific question for the panelists as well. Let's say for Mr. Ashish, so I want to know, or we want to know that how to compete with the fierce media buying markets to gain the Southeast Asia user, because US in SocialPeta, probably had how and you talk about how competitive it is, and how we as industry players to compete with
Yeah.
the media buying as well.
Okay. Great. Thank you for that question, Adan. Media buying is, if I have to talk really about it, if I have to really start with media buying, I would say it's a very nuanced operation. Like it has to be really thread, it's a needle and thread operation. Media buying is really have to be strategized. They need to understand what exactly their global, their ad campaign goal is. They need to understand where the target audience is. They need to understand what is the right time to buy that certain media buying on, especially on the social networking sites and everything and different websites. So I would say, in order to have that fierce, it's a really cutthroat competition in terms of media buying because everyone is bidding on the prime time slots. Everyone wants to show their particular ads and their gameplays, or let's say their game ad creatives, or even for that matter, any product on the real time basis. So as I said, understanding the goal campaign of media buying is the most important thing. They need to have the most optimal strategies. The people who are working in that particular media buying industry, they need to have a really good negotiation skills. However, there has been a new trend which we have noticed that we have come across. It has been happening for quite a long time, and it has increased overall the programmatic buying, wherein the AI would automatically will understand which is the prime time slot and they will bid for the negotiation for that particular space in order to avoid that human error. I would say about 80 to 85% right now it's pragmatic buying right now. And of course, day by day, it's becoming more and more better. People and engineers are developing more better insights into pragmatic buying and to increase the most optimal time for you to buy the media. But again, as I said, yeah, technology is a really great thing. And as I said, 85% of the pragmatic buying is done right now through the AI. However, the rest of the 15% is still in there. A lot of human interaction is required. They need to understand, they need the people who have that experience, past experience of, buying media for so long, so many times. They also see that trend accordingly. Now, AI could only have certain limitations, but it's not bad, but it could have only certain limitations to it. So human media buying is also there, and with their long experience and exposure towards this market, they understand like what is the current trend right now, what are people really watching, what is the breaking news. They need to understand all these things, and then this go ahead and do the media buying. So it's a mix of both, both the technology and the human part as well. So that is one thing we need to really set. Just set up your clear goals. What do you really want out of this particular media buying space? What do you want people to see? What do you want people to feel when they watch the ad during that time? And what is going to be, what is going to happen in the next future? And of course, the media buying directly is involved with your budget as well, because your budget can go
Truly.
over, your budget can go under. You need
Yep.
to have this right amount of budget for your media buying. So these are some of the key things I would say people need to, like, the companies need to take away, keep in mind while engaging in the ACA market overall. And as Mudassir said earlier, there are multiple languages, there are multiple local regions where people need to. So that's one of the key things also, to have app creatives in local languages, which would really help people to understand about the game, or even for any product for that matter.
Yes. So like not like one case for all situation kind of it, right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
it's supposed to, like, the budget, the customers, what's
Exactly.
your long plan, short plan on the localization. I understand. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Asif.
Thank you.
So I want to ask to Mr. Mudassir first, like as mentioned before by Mr. Asis, that a lot of like media buying, a lot of diversification. So and how important it is to do a channel diversification, and the importance of like paid ads, because we cannot uh you know just do organically, just upload to the Play Store and then hope for the best, right? Like would you explain more about the importance of those two things, Mr.
Yeah,
Mudassir?
yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Ardan. And I think the word diversification here is very important. And to me, really, it is always the best approach. As the very old proverb goes, right? Never keep all your eggs in one basket.
Yep.
So it's a similar scenario to user acquisition as well. And when, again, in this particular situation where we are talking about game developers or game titles being marketed across Southeast Asia as a market. So obviously, keeping all of those background points in mind, there has to be a strategy which is diversified for this particular market, and we see that across the board, be it e-commerce clients, be it ride-hailing clients, be it food tech clients, basically whosoever we work with. There's always that push for diversification when it comes to acquisition. And I'll take everyone back a step because there was a time not very long ago where there were not many options available to the advertiser when it comes to user acquisition. But today we are in a very lucky place and time where we have an ecosystem where the advertiser has multiple options available in order to drive their user acquisition goals. With every single channel or every single option basically providing its own unique features. And every single channel will reach out to a unique set of audiences in a unique manner. And the reason really, or the idea behind this diversification is that you want to drive your acquisition campaigns with almost equal focus on quality, scale, and virality or popularity, right? I mean, those are the key areas you want to drive in order to maximize your ROI when it comes to it. So firstly, what needs to happen is, as a prerequisite, the advertiser, or in this case, the game developer, has to be open to the idea of testing new channels. You cannot get into the market with a closed mind and only focusing on a singular channel and hoping that particular channel to do miracles. Each supply channel, each supply source will come with its unique advantages and disadvantages. And how do we figure that out? Now, the best way to do that is a simple rule of thumb, is to judge a channel's efficiency by measuring the overall quality of the users that are being acquired. Right, you've got the systems in place, you've got the MMPs which are collecting data on your acquisition, you've got your backend CRM tools which are analyzing that data. So obviously, what you need to do is just figure out the efficiency and the quality of users that you're acquiring. And in order to reach the right kind of audience, you have to continuously keep testing new channels and always have a healthy mix of different channels in order to reduce dependability on one particular source. And that way you're not hitting a brick wall and then again going back to the drawing board to figure out what went wrong with the strategy. And in this case, Mass, as a unified audience platform, and others, I'm sure, can help with simplifying this channel testing and campaign optimization. And I'll just quickly go over some of the go-to diversified channel options that we have. Number one, and first and foremost, is your networks, which is basically comprising of ad networks, direct publishers, and the affiliate ecosystem. Now, this particular option can account for immediate, high scale for your particular campaign that you require in order to drive a decent organic growth as well. And like what Harry and others were saying earlier on, and specifically Harry was mentioning that when you're at that launch phase, when you want to go high scale acquisition, that automatically has an impact on your App Store or Play Store rankings. It then drives a bit more traction at an organic level, drives more virality, which is very important. So network plays a very good role when it comes to scaling up immediately and drastically. Next up, we have programmatic, like what we spoke, what we heard from Ashish as well earlier on.
Yes.
Programmatic channels would be your supply side platforms, your ad exchanges that the supply is integrated with. This will allow the advertiser to target audiences, right? So when we are again talking about knowing your customer base, knowing your potential consumers. So with a programmatic environment, you are able to target audience personas based on your product, based on your strategy or your appetite of acquisition, right? You will be able to understand how many audiences from the gaming segment would you need to acquire, or does it have to be entirely the gaming segment? What about high internet consumption audiences? What about high OTT consumption? Or what about audiences who have shown high affinity towards technology and shopping? So all of this you are able to do with programmatic channels, with audience focus, and then also with a gradual scale. Now, when you are focusing on audiences specifically, that is also at the same time improving your quality of acquisition, because there's already some form of affinity towards your product. Next up is OEMs, which is fast becoming a very, very popular channel for acquisitions. And these are basically Android mobile devices, the original equipment manufacturers. And what happens with these channels is that they help you place ads in the form of recommendations within their mobile devices, within their smartphones. And there's a plethora of unique placements that are available with various OEMs today that make your ad more discoverable. This could be potentially within their native app stores. It could be potentially within certain folders, or for example, on some Android devices, we see the 0 screen or the -1 screen or the lock screen. So those placements are very intelligent and they make your ads much more discoverable than they would be otherwise. So OEMs definitely another key strategy to keep in mind. Another very important channel, and which has picked up over the past couple of years much more than it did before, is App Store optimization. Now, App Store optimization both for Apple and Android can be done. I mean, in Apple, it's in the form of Apple search ads, and then for Google, there's, for example, there's Google Pie, which are auto-install apps. But the approach is to really drive high-quality users by pushing your App Store rankings, your visibility, your search results on app stores to the maximum. And specifically talking about Apple search ads, it has taken the lead, especially ever since we had the iOS 14 Plus update, where users could opt in. This has become the one true channel to drive very high quality and very high LTV user acquisition on iOS devices. And in our recent campaigns in the India market, where we drive a lot of user acquisition on RMG category games, which is basically real money gaming category, we have seen a brilliant uplift in acquisitions through Apple search ads. So App Store optimization, definitely another channel to be looked into. Then comes your social channels. Now, obviously, social channels will bring the advertiser, in most of the case, in direct contact with the most high intent users, especially in the case of games, like we established earlier on as well. Young adults being the main gamers in Southeast Asia. Where do you find them? You see them on social media platforms majority of the time. So social channels obviously will push that use case as well. But it is also very important to utilize the social opportunity in the right way. Because what we've seen in a lot of cases is advertisers tend to limit to the usual suspects when it comes to social strategies. But today, there's tons of social platforms available, and there are hundreds of millions of users using different social media platforms at different times. So even with Mass today, we have active integrations with more than 50 different social platforms globally. Now, that type of an approach really magnifies your social reach. And it is very important to keep in mind when you're driving your social media campaigns.
Social media campaigns.
Lastly, what I would say is a diversified channel approach is definitely great. But then the advertiser, or in this case, the game developer or the publisher, needs to also focus on the optimization of this multi-channel approach in order to reduce the overlap and streamline their ad spends. When you are driving a multi-channel strategy, there is bound to be some form of audience overlap. So how do you mitigate that? How do you maintain that balance between different channels and not having too much overlap? Because that means you are overspending onto a particular audience group, which can be acquired at much less. So there has to be constant data analysis that needs to be taken care of, and you can use certain technologies in order to drive your campaigns in a way where you can avoid such an overlap, whether it is hyperlocal targeting, whether it is day parting, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of different ways you can minimize this overlap. In fact, we have a product that specifically focuses on the overlap issue when it comes to advertisers that are using multiple partners and multiple channels. So the point I'm trying to make is that it is not all hunky-dory that you integrate 5 different channels and it's going to do magic. No, there's going to be a lot of there's going to be a lot of analysis required. There's going to be a lot of data churning required in order to make sure that you are using this multi-channel strategy or a diversified channel strategy in the right way, and streamlining and helping this strategy to streamline your ad spends.
Yes, absolutely. And in the end, just maximize the ROI in general, right?
Exactly. I mean, that's the point at the end of the day.
Exactly. So, but thank you so much. That's so detailed, and also like I'm really like the what it called, just to make sure that all of the budget itself go to the right person, and then stay dynamically to go through different kind of approaches, because like even though like one approach works, probably next one doesn't work as well, like something around like that, right?
Yeah, it gives you that liberty, right? It gives you that
Exactly.
of being able to assess every single channel, and then focus your attention,
Focus, yeah.
or focus your spends more towards the channel which is giving you the most ROI.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Mudasir. So I think we we learn a lot about the abstract level of this stuff, and I want to know more about the one that in the trenches, let's say, Shafik. So what difficulty that you had during your product cycle, probably say that, like you see that how difficulty about the acquiring the users based on your experience. And then I also notified also from the Rakaputra, there's a question as well, and notice he noticed that Gambirs also collaborate with the local KOL, such as Lola Zeta and Ivan Gunawan. Is that the consideration of the user acquisition as well, or is there any other consideration before that? And how effective were they, like during the product cycle? Is it retaining the users? Like how's the performance of collaborating with the local KOL?
Okay, so yeah, I just want to make it quick because I think that we are running out of time right now, and yeah, but back then that we are still bootstrapping, right? And our main villain of that when we still do like bootstrapping is the marketing cost, because marketing cost that you cannot do like a very small number. It's like a go big or go home. Like there is no in between. So so since we knew that our weakness is the marketing cost, that we try to approach with the people who has the marketing power with the less effort that they have. So that is why that we are trying to collaborating with the KOL, with the influencer, with the public figure, because they have that kind of power, and they want to something that can be pop up in their names as well. Because games, when you talk games with the non gamers community, it sounds very sexy, right? Like, oh, like you made games. This is very interesting and stuff. And so yeah, of course they want to try, especially games is a very fun stuff until they tap into the development. It's not fun anymore. So yeah. And so yeah, this is one of our strategy to having like quote unquote free promotions, because they think that since we put them on our games, they have like sense of belonging with the game itself. So they will like post it regularly. They will do like reposts from their fans, and especially the KOL or the public figure that we use at the game is already have the fan base. So that will be more way easier for them to like tap into their market. And also that we already Gambir Studio itself has already have a fan base. So that will be more way easier for us to reach them. And they think that, oh wow, you work with the public figure, you work with the celebrity. It also makes us like feel like, you know,
legitimate, right?
More, yes, legitimate and more valuable in the terms of the PR.
Right.
So that's the kind that we do at that moment. And yeah, of course, for now that since you know that we are very specific, especially for the Indonesian market and at least Southeast Asian market, because you know for the food things that we have something in common with some of the countries. So that is why that at the moment that Celeb Center is also having the English versions of it. So people
Yes.
outside Indonesia can also enjoying the game itself. And our plan is to grow first in Indonesia, and then until that we have a data, we are ready to tap into the global market.
I see. Okay, thank you so much, Shafiq. I think
Yeah.
I'm agree with that as well. So
Yeah.
why kind of like finding a new user base while we can use existing user base of those
Yes, or acquiring someone else's
acquiring
user base.
someone else. I see, understand. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. So
Okay.
we talk more about the businesses as well. So I'm really sorry everyone, like this is take a little bit stretched out, but this is like the last question probably for Mr. Hari. So as based on your perspective, based on your experience, like what's the top feature of the mobile gaming market in Southeast Asia? Like because the is it the hyper casual? Is this the there's something daily mission or something like that to retain, to acquire? Do you have anything to do you have insight to the top feature of the mobile gaming market in the Southeast Asia?
Yeah. So I guess since we are already running out of time, I'll just go quick. I think
Yeah.
I've covered some of that in my previous answers. I think in terms of the gaming audiences, right? Like a huge
I
audience,
see.
as well as like the uniqueness of the mobile developers from different regions. But I do one thing that's in common is like I think this the Southeast Asia region, a lot of the developers, they are still focusing on the casual to mid-core type of games. A lot of that's get developed in this region focus more on the casual side. Of course, there are some like mid to hardcore games. A majority of the games tends to focus on the casual to mid-core end. And in terms of monetization, I think a lot of games love to monetize with ads. So
Yes.
and through either rewarded video, interstitial, or banner, I think a lot of the games rely heavily on the ads monetization as well. And from a marketing perspective, I think a lot of the studios are really innovative, and they're always experimenting to find what's the best for them in terms of the marketing strategies. They are not constrained by the mindset of like what has worked with them, then they will keep on using, but they will keep on innovating when there's new products coming, when there's new cases that has been shared in the market that's been working by for another partner. They also want to try. So I think that's some of the key elements.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Ali. I'm really sorry, everyone, that we stretched out this long. So I think if you're not I think I want to ask a favor for the panelists. If audience wants to know to ask you about furthers about this question about the mobile market, about the SocialPeta and MIS and then Google and also Gambir. Could you put on the chat the contact person or the email that the attendants could contact more?
Yeah, sure.
Sure, no problem.
So while we doing that, I think maybe we do some sort of like closing the statement to make sure that we our talk comes to a conclusion. So probably we know that a lot of like Southeast Asia mobile games had this massive growth throughout the years, and then we see that to cater to those opportunity, we need to understand our customers, and that's why we know the what media buying right to buy, and then maximize our ROI. And as Shafiq mentioned before, like maybe you can collaborate with local KOL and then take their user base. I think so like that.
Not tech, acquire the user base.
acquire the user base as well with the right user acquisition as well as totally being what you call explained a lot by Mr. Mudasir, and also with the trend that been developed, been explained by Mr. Harry. So we do have a line now about the whole line situation, but I'll let you have like one or two statements to close, maybe for Mr. Mudasir first, to close the conversation about the Southeast Asia market in general, and as a game developer, what should we looking forward to the near futures?
First of all, thanks a lot again. It was brilliant to learn all the interesting insights from the panelists. So definitely, gaming is going to stay as a key area of focus when it comes to Southeast Asia. And for us as a company which specifically focuses on performance marketing and user acquisition as the key revenue stream for us, this is an area that we will keep our focus on, we'll keep our eyes on. And earlier on, like Harry mentioned, Southeast Asia, the game developers, the game publishers are really coming up amongst the ranks of global game developers, which is really good to see. And as that increases in number and as that increases in quality, you are definitely bound to see a lot more gaming action in Southeast Asia, and we'll be there to enjoy that ride.
Yeah, that's all right, because we want the Southeast Asia to be grown and be one of the biggest market. We do want that, right? And then thank you so much, Mr. Mudasir. Probably the next one, Mr. Ashish, could you do like one or two statements to close the session?
Absolutely, Adan. And I want to thank each and every one of the esteemed panelists for, joining this webinar, and all the attendees and the audiences and our hosts as well, for, arranging all this, great event and webinar. We understood a lot, we exchanged ideas, and hope we can do that again in the future. Just to close out, as I said, SEA market or even for global market, we have understood that each and every market are really, really focused on game creatives. The way you show your ad, the way you display your ads really matters a lot. And in specific for gaming apps, there is no objective to it, because if I download a different app like Amazon, I'm downloading it because I need to do my shopping on Amazon. But for a gaming app, the objective is to make your creative as good as possible and to place it at the right place so that it attracts the customer and then they download it. So SocialPeta, as that we deal in specific gaming categories, and gaming is our forte in terms of ad creatives with multiple social networks, and we have Facebook partners as well. So perhaps with SEA market emerging companies, we can work out together and probably help them out to channel their growth in the right direction. And that's pretty much of it. I would not take much time, but again, I want to thank you again, everyone, for joining the webinar.
Thank you so much, Mr. Isis. Really nice to really talk to you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Isis. So the next one is Mr. Harry. Probably, do you have anything to close, like one or two statement?
Yeah, thank you so much, Dan. And then it's great to chat with all the panelists today. So I think really great to chat more details about the Southeast Asia mobile gaming space. And if any of you guys, the audience here, have any questions related to Google Ads, or if you are thinking of launching your game with Google, feel free to let me know. Happy to chat and connect for more details.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Harry. So last but not least, Shafiq, could you close the one or two statements to close the session?
Okay, thank you everyone. It's very insightful sessions. Asia's mobile gaming. Thanks for all the panelists. Thanks for all the audience who listened to us for like 1.5 hours. It's
Yes, it's pretty long, but it
thank
doesn't
you
feel
so
like
much.
it, right?
Thank you so much. Well, what a wonderful evening, and I think that for the user acquisition itself, you first of all you have to know who is your target market. This is the most important thing, and try to speak their language. Try to listen to them. That's the most important things. Other than that, you only like burn money for something that you don't really know.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
And also choosing the right metrics, the right channel. I think that's kind of okay. Thank you so much, Shafiq. So before closing, I've been told by the committee of the session that we do have giveaway for we do have giveaway from the one for one that asked question. Probably those giveaway would be choose by the committee. So if you gonna please check your email if you do been chosen by the committee. I think that's just a general. So other than that, thank you so much, Mr. Mudasir, Mr. Asis, Mr. Harry Shafiq. So hopefully this would be boycott. I learned a lot too because all of this is not really common to have a conversation with it with all of these experts, right? we do learn more about the Southeast Asia market, how we can capture it, how to maximize ROI, and hopefully with this we're gonna see, as Mr. Mudasir has been stated before, that growth of the mobile game developer to be more dominant in their own market. I think that's kind of it. Thank you so much for the session. Probably that's all for me. I'm signing out. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Everyone,
Thank you,
it was a
everyone.
pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye.